Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're just going to do a quick watercolor with these Mission Gold watercolors that I did the review on the other day. I am beginning to like them a little bit more. I'm getting more used to the wetness that is left behind. For those who did not go back to the comments on the review video, somebody had asked about the binder that is used, and it's a combination of different natural materials, all food-based materials. There's honey and apple, peaches, guar gum, gum arabic, and a couple others. Oh, actually sorbitol. And anyway, those are the basics that are in this binder. Oh, and honey. I don't know if I said honey or not. So that is why they do not dry. I knew there was honey in them, but I just didn't know what else was in them until I researched it. So thank you for the question on the other video. So that's what's in them, and they do stay gooey, but I am able to tip them over without anything falling out. So I think I'll be able to travel with them fine. We'll see when I go on vacation real soon. So anyway, let's get started with the painting. Okay, so today I'm just using a piece of hot press paper. It was sitting right next to me, so I decided to go ahead and use that. There was no particular reason. I actually prefer cold press. But I'm just drawing a little rectangle on here, freehanding it, so it's not perfect, but that's okay. And I am doing just a little lakeside scene, I guess inspired by my vacation coming up. I'm really excited to be going. I'll be going up near Lake Superior, up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and it is gorgeous. It's like desolate up there. There's more animals than there are people, let me put it that way. And my husband and I are really looking forward to it. When I was a kid, that's where I was pretty much raised in the summers. I spent all my summers there, so. But I'm a city girl. So anyway, so I'm just drawing a few pine trees in. I'm using a Uniball or Uniball, however you say it, 0.4 fine point waterproof fade-proof pigment pen. Although when I put water on it, you'll see in a few minutes that there is a little ink that does get loose, I guess you could say. So now I'm just wetting down my paper for the sky. And I think I'm going to do a little sunset scene. Now instead of sweeping the ultramarine blue, or wait, what is that called? Yep, ultramarine blue deep is what I used on that. That's why it's a little bit darker. I did do another copy of this painting before I did it with you all, and I used a lot more diluted color. So I felt like this was a little bit too dark. I got to get used to that with this pigment. It is very pigmented, and I thought I was watering it down pretty well, but here I'm using Opera Pink, which is not very light fast. It's kind of middle of the road, but I don't care. This is just a small sketch. So, and I used yellow ochre for the sun. It's a warmer yellow, so that's why I wanted to use that. It's actually yellow ochre #1. They must have more than one yellow ochre in their series. So, now here I'm taking peacock blue, and I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow ochre to it just to make it a little bit greener. And then I'm going to go ahead and start with the water here. I wanted to wet it down, and I had rinsed my brush, but obviously not well enough. So I'm going back with my mop brush, my oval. That is a silver black velvet 3/4 oval brush, and I absolutely love my silver black velvet brushes. They're not cheap though, so if you're just starting out, you can use some nice synthetic brushes. Actually, synthetics are the way to go when you're starting, I think, because you can control the water a little bit better. Sables hold a lot of water, Squirrel Rizlan brushes, which are what these silver black velvet brushes are, also hold a lot of water. So there's a little bit of an adjustment there when you go to those. But what I'm using for the majority of the painting here is a Sterling Edwards flat brush. And I forget what these bristles are. I think they're synthetic, but I'm not sure. I have to look that up. I can tell you guys. And now I'm adding some yellow ochre in to the beach area for the sand. And I'm mixing a little bit of that peacock blue in with it because the water is running up on the shore and running back. So, and then you can see the sand in the water for a little bit. Now here I'm getting some green. That is Hooker's green, and I'm mixing it with the greenish yellow, which to me looks a lot like Daniel Smith's green gold. I think that's what it's called. What is that called? Actually more like their olive green, Daniel Smith olive green, which has a lot of yellow in it. And I started out with a little bit lighter greens on the branches of the trees. And I will be layering color onto these. I wanted to start out with lighter colors. Obviously, with watercolor, we work from light to dark, most generally. Some people mix it up, and I do too, but when you're going to be layering color, you really need to start with the light color because unless it's opaque. Another thing with these colors that I wanted to let you all know of, that the white that is included in this set, I believe it is in this set. It says Chinese white, but I'm not sure. They say in the online on the Mijello website that the white can be used in order to make opaque paints that are equivalent to gouache. And that's one of their claims. So if you like both gouache and transparent paint, this white does really hold up. In fact, when I tested it, I could place white on top of my watercolors and could actually see it, which was pretty impressive, I thought. Now I'm going back in with some darker colors. I think I mixed in here some Viridian into the mixture to make it more of a blue-green. And I'm trying to add it more on the sides of the branches that are not facing the sun. So you'll see on that smaller tree, I kind of leave the tips of the branches that are facing the sunlight on the lighter side. Pine trees are so easy, and especially with the flat brush. You can make the branches go upward, face downward, straight out, kind of like I'm doing here. They're kind of straight out to downward. And if you really look at pine trees, the branches are different for different species of pine. So I know that the blue spruce branches tend to come swooping. Well, they start out upward. I'm looking out my window at a blue spruce, and then they kind of go straight out, and then the little branches that hang off of the larger branches kind of droop down. And the same with the I don't know what kind of pine that is. Regular evergreens tend to have droopy branches, but near the tops, a lot of times they tend to face upward toward the sun. So here I'm removing some of the blue. I just didn't like how deep blue that was, so I was taking some of the blue off, and I do the same with the yellow ochre as well. And I'm adding a tree coming into view from off of the paper. Just putting some branches in for an added effect. And this is going to be a fall scene. I'm going to add some leaves to that as well. Right here I'm using some sepia for the branches as they start out. I got a little too wet on my brush there at the top, so I just added another branch off of it. Easy way to fix it if you get out of the lines. Just adjust your branches and make them a little thicker. And now I'm taking some yellow ochre here. I'm trying to keep with a small palette of colors. It unifies your paintings when you do that. So instead of adding another yellow to the painting, I'm just sticking with that yellow ochre, and it kind of draws everything together. When you add a color in, you should really be adding it to another area of your painting. And because of this, I'm not going to be adding bright green into my water, but I'm going to be taking that peacock blue and adding it to the side of the pine trees. I'm going to be mixing that peacock blue inward, so the deeper branches get some of that peacock blue. Here I'm showing you right now. Oh, no, right here I'm actually bringing the shadow in from behind the trees. And I probably could have brought it down a little farther, but that's all right. I used the peacock blue and some permanent violet, mixing those together to make the shadow. And I wanted to adjust the colors a little bit because they got a little heavy there for a while. So after my adjustment, then I'll go back into the trees now with the peacock blue and permanent violet mixture to bring some of that color in. And now here I'm adding in a little bit of a tree trunk here and there. Actually, with my pen, I made a bit of a mistake. You can see my pen running almost all the way down the page on the trees to the left. And I meant to stop those higher because really you can't see a trunk top to bottom on a tree. The foliage covers it up. And when you're done, just sign your painting and you're all set. So here I'm showing the painting. I'll take the clips off so you can get a little better view. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if this video was helpful to you, please like down below and leave me comments, and I will be back in a couple weeks. Have a great day.